Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. You are tuning in on the Banji D Corner. It's a pleasure to be here. We have somebody who's already with us. Good evening, San. Um, it is great to be back. I'm your host, Banji D. And I think for many Blacks this week, everyone is celebrating on a sour note. I must say it is a victory. Finally, justice has been served. And tonight we are going to discuss with our special contributor, Philippe Augustin, who really follow a lot of news, who really follow a lot of information. The last time we were doing a special on Black History Month, and we had him on the Benji D Corner, around the corner with us. And he was talking about the situation with Blacks in America. And tonight, we will be discussing about the George Floyd case with Officer Derek Chauvin, who was convicted this week. The attorneys, the family, everyone, many have been posting, finally, justice has been served. There's so much more work to be done. I want to thank my sponsors for making this episode possible. We're on our 14th episode. We are really glad. We are very happy to be with you, as always. And we want to say a quick hello to our young fans, Jalisa, Jordan, Dial, little Bethany, and also Prince Wendy. Young Prince Wendy has a new song coming out very soon, Pretty Girl. We will definitely get a lot more information for you on that. We are glad to be back. We're going to go ahead and give you this great welcome like we normally do with the great voice of our wonderful producer of Jaspo TV, Alan Daphnis.
In their own right, presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluence our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluence our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Yes, it's the voice, and we're always pleased to join you on YouTube. Continue to share our content, share our episodes, and also we encourage you to click like and comment, and also increase our subscribers. We would love for you to subscribe. Every week, we're picking up more and more subscribers. We really appreciate it. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. Continue to tell others, continue to tell your friends and families that we have a great show for you on YouTube where we really share a lot with the audience and we talk about different stories, individuals, and what's really happening. And we are glad that you continuously share our material. You continuously watch what we present to you. We really appreciate it. And without you, we cannot do this. It's you, the viewers, who tune in and take some time and tell others as we present the show to you. Benji D Corner on the corner. We share a lot, I must say. I had this posting because we are finally getting back into the fitness world. We had taken a break, a long break that's overdue. It's been 6 months. I have not worked out. So I'm getting back in the groove. It feels good little by little. And our workout buddy, Miss Claudinette, who's doing a wonderful job, who really has been very consistent in keeping up. And I'm really glad, I must say, when you start reaching that over 40, you want to keep on exercising. You want to keep it going. You want to keep the blood flow. You want to keep the heart pumping. You cannot go wrong with exercise. It helps. It keeps you young and it keeps the skin beautiful. And especially when you're using good product like Munich Cosmetic that I use, all natural product. So I encourage all of you, male or female, you want to exercise, you want to put the miles, you want to really stay in shape and eat clean, eat healthy, eat the right stuff. I must say, like after 6 months, not really keeping up and working out, if I did not continue eating the proper way, eating clean, eating well, I would have not been able to somewhat maintain. And now it's time to get back into shape, lose some and kind of get lean again. And we will definitely do it. We're no stranger to it. We got the discipline and the motivation. I have to thank my sponsors, JD and Associate, for making this episode possible tonight. JD and Associate Services for your personal and business tax. About 20 years of experience. The number is 561-376-0220. Also, JD Technical Institute for your bookkeeping and accounting courses. It's a 561-376-0220. You're in the Palm Beach area. You need a good school with a professor who's very knowledgeable and who can really teach you finance. JD and JD Technical Institute. Crystal Event Hall for your parties, your event. If you want a place where you could have decorated to your liking, funeral reception, birthday parties, graduation, wedding reception, you name it. It's 561-577-7097. Just give them a call and you can reserve your space. Beanie's Lemonade for all your parties. Beanies, that's my cup, Beanie's Lemonade. If you're having an event and you'd like Beanies to be a vendor in the event, or if you're having home parties as well, and you'd like to pre-order your beanies, you could check out the page on IG, Beanies Lemonade. And also you can find beanies in so many stores. You can find beanies in different restaurants in Boynton Beach, Elda, Union Discount Market, Flavors in West Palm, and Bravo Supermarket, and as well Jumbo Supermarket in Lake Worth. There's several Spanish market. You could find beanies at those different locations, whether you're in Delray, whether you're in West Palm, in Boynton Beach, in Lake Worth, you can find beanies. Check out the page on IG and you'll find all the details about Beanie's Lemonade. We like to drink so much because we talk so much throughout the day. And also we want to thank Law B. Masnikoff and Associate. If you have a workers' compensation case and a disability case, it's 561-598-7120. That's the number to call to schedule an appointment or do a consultation. It's free of charge, no fee for the consultation. Just give a call. And we are going to have a good time this evening with you. We're going to have a great show for you. And Philippe Augustin is usually so much to share with his audience. And tonight, we are really going to focus on discrimination against Blacks in America. And police using force, especially when a black male or female gets stopped, the behavior is different. According to the Washington Post, at least 983 people has been shot by police officers. And blacks are more likely to be killed in any encounter with a police officer. The behavior is different. And automatically, a black person is profile. His profile is seen differently. A black person is seen as someone who's always a suspect automatically. Sometimes someone can be stopped, a black person could be stopped, even if they don't have the behavior, even if they don't act a certain way. The cops get suspicious. But if it's a white person, the behavior is different. Usually you hear many said, if a white person is doing something, a young man, they'll most likely the cops say, come on, son, what are you doing here? But when it's a black person, it's a different behavior. It's a total different behavior because it's a black person, a black male. We see when we had Commissioner Christina Romulus was talking about Trayvon Martin. He was in his neighborhood visiting his father, and with the other individual, Robert Zimmerman, who was not even a cop, had a different reaction toward him until the altercation started, and eventually, he lost his life. So many different incidents. Just recently, the 16-year-old who got shot recently. So in Columbus, Ohio, just recent. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And you hear many talks about and saying the officers, it's the officers, they're not, some are good, but quite often it's many of the bad ones that are doing the type of killings that are happening. Where do we start? How do they fight this issue? How do you get rid of those bad apples? How do you get rid of the bad ones that are continuously hurting our black sons and daughters? How do you do it after all these years? And we are now 2021. And many times that I've talked about situation where there's been a killing of a black person, there's been a police officer involved. And sadly, I always say, but unfortunately, I'm talking about it over the years, but I'll find myself talking about it again because there will be another killing. There will be a next person who's going to get killed. It's just like you put an identity. It says, dying being black. Because you're black, you're going to die by being out there. This is the behavior toward blacks. And sometimes some of us may have a good attitude. I remember in the past, I was stopped by the police. It was late at night. I was dropping some friend and I was just not really speeding, but he stopped me. But I could see the rage that he has, but I knew my rights and I had friends in the car and I protected myself and I made sure that I followed through and called internal affairs and went to court with him. And he lost because I knew my rights and I remained calm. And there were others and he called for backup. So sometimes some don't care. But there are some good ones. But the sad thing is, the bad ones make the good ones look bad because it continues. And some of the stories we hear, some of those different situations, several of the killings, when one person is killed, who's a black person, then quite often you have other officers that are present and allowing their colleague to continue with the type of excessive force they're using to being violent against a Black person, to treat a Black person differently. So when does it end? When does it stop? When this phase in America that the world is watching, the world is looking and wondering, when do we put closure? When will there be a time where we're not talking about these issues and saying Blacks are getting killed in numbers? The numbers are a lot more compared to whites or Hispanic or other population. It's just they are a target. They have to deal with it. On top of other issues, they have to deal with the way they're looked at, the way they're treated in the workplace, the way they're treated in schools, the advantages, and how they get so disenfranchised, the way they're treated in the health system. And on top of it, getting killed, that's the worst many Blacks have to face nowadays. The conversation have to change. They have to do better in the system. They have to do better. Is it retraining differently those police officers? Is it doing more screening, more investigation, watching closer, make them accountable more, having a lot more conviction, or having more supervision? This way, they will protect the Black population. Because several times you see statement by mothers and fathers saying, I'm afraid for my Black son. I'm afraid for my Black daughter walking around in his own neighborhood and being profiled, or in his vehicle and being profiled. If he's driving a vehicle, a white cop may feel he does not belong in this type of vehicle because he's a young Black kid. He cannot be in a luxury car. Automatically, he gets stopped. Where are you going? I remember the story a friend of mine was telling me. He had a brand new Jaguar, worked very hard, hardworking, entrepreneur, businessman. And he's driving, he got stopped. The cops asked him, well, do you know where you're going? He's like, excuse me, officer? I said, yeah, do you know where you're going? He said, yes, I'm heading home. Can I see the car, registration? Is that your vehicle? That's the kind of behavior that some cops have toward Blacks. That's the type of behavior. Because you're Black, some feel you don't deserve certain things. Or you cannot be in this neighborhood. When will it stop? There has to be a point where it stops. We have to continue the fight. Many have to continuously be accountable for their actions. So Blacks can be treated fairly, equally. They have to continue talking about the situation that are occurring more and more and more. The mistakes that are being made. That has to change. It cannot continue. We have to have a way of feeling that we are truly free. That we have the same right. That the treatment is fair. And it's an equal treatment. Those killings, at some point, should not keep on increasing. The more we talk about it, then they are still increasing. They cannot keep on adding up. The numbers needs to go lower. So the fight has to continue. The fight has to continue. We must continue to fight. And the more police officers are going to be accountable for their actions, for their behaviors, more supervision and training, and whatever they have to do before they even get on the force. More testing for these officers so they could get a better idea what type of individual these people are. Because if they are doing the killing, they are the authorities. They're supposed to protect and serve. No matter which role they play in any department, they would have the same behavior if they are already racist or if they just want to discriminate. This is how the individual is. Like I often say, racism, it's a type of disease. Some get cured, some they don't. And they carry on, and they could be among others, and they don't show it yet deep down inside. They have those sentiments, and they act upon it. Because when you look at the video of the incident that happened with George Floyd, the world was sad by this incident. The world, how can a human being stop another human being from breathing? Even he was begging, I can't breathe. So some people are just inside. They have this mean streak towards someone who has a different color of skin. It has to stop. There has to be a point where it stops, where the narrative is changed. Better treatment, fair treatment for Blacks. It's a constant battle. Peaceful protests, like my good friend Phil would say, Philippe Augustin. We have to be in power. We have to get involved politically. We have to be in different departments, legal department, and politics. Be in position where we are making decisions. And also being empowered financially so it could be better. The better it is for our communities, then we grow and we make a bigger impact. We make a better impact. This will be a lot more helpful. That's not going to change the discrimination, the sentiment that some may have toward us, but at least they will think twice before treating us unfairly, before a next cop can feel he could do anything to a young son or a young daughter just for a simple routine stop. Several years, I remember the story of this medical student. He had just left the university. He was driving a Mercedes, and a white cop questioned him. They said they made a mistake. They thought they were looking for someone who was a suspect. When you think of it with these stories, many times, many of these mistakes are made. Quite often with a Black person. Quite often. they have to do better. The cops have to do a lot better, because we cannot continue having this fear, having this situation for the Blacks. Will discrimination stop existing? No, it will not. But there are certain positions an individual hold, they cannot afford to show the sentiment and treat someone else because of the color of their skin differently. If you're going to carry on that type of sentiment, where the duty is to protect and serve, therefore, you should not be in that position, because you need a lot more compassion for everyone, regardless of their race. That's the way it should be. Just imagine how we are looked upon here in America because of what goes on, because of all the numbers and the killings that are adding up, all the shooting that are happening with the Blacks in America. We're supposed to be the leader of the world, where democracy for all, justice and equality. We have to set the example. But yet, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. This has to change at some point. It has to change. You are with us streaming Benji D Corner. I want to thank my publicist, Natasha, for all her support and all her great work. If you need a good strategist, a great business coach, Natasha is your girl. Check her on IG, Let's Boss Talk. Thank you to Lois, also with Netronics, for setting up our system. In a few minutes, our special contributor, Philippe Augustin, is going to join us. He was having some issues. He should join us shortly. We are waiting for him. And last week, we had a great program with San. She talked about DMX, who unfortunately had lost his life with a drug overdose. It was a great show. Thank you. Thank you, San. I know she's watching right now. Phil, where are you? We're waiting. He's a bit late. He's going to join us shortly on the corner. Thank you to those of you that are still watching. I want to say a quick hello to Tanisha, who's in South Korea, very far away, teaching. She's teaching over there. Good afternoon, good evening. Good evening, Tanisha. I really appreciate the fact that you get to watch our program from so far away. We are waiting for Philippe Augustin, who's supposed to join pretty soon. Where are you, Phil? We are waiting on you. I sent you the information. He should be joining us very, 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 very soon to continue our programming. And the next few minutes, we will be with you. It's really great to be with you every time. We really appreciate it. And the best statement is click like and share. Tell others that we are on. And even after, you continue watching and viewing the program. We really appreciate it. We are waiting for Philippe Augustin to join. He should be in the background somewhere so we can continue with the programming. We had checked some numbers for you. They're like in the thousands and thousands. The number of victims that's being added. Here it is. Yes, great. We're gonna quickly welcome Phil with us. We're gonna be right back.
Turn to Benji's Corner.
Let's gather from all around the globe and join a Benji D Corner as we share the untold stories of individuals that have impacted society in their own right. Presented by renowned broadcast journalist Benji D. Turn to the corner every week for great talk, creating good vibes as we discover new transformations and great conversations. Watch Benji D Corner on Facebook and YouTube, streaming live, showcasing community stories that affluence our lifestyle. And now, welcome Benji D, the voice, and her various guests.
Turn to Benji's Corner. Turn to Benji's Corner.
Good evening, Phil. It's great having you. A little late than never. How are
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You know, it's always a pleasure sharing platform with you. I was doing my input about the situation. I remember the last time you were here with us, and we were saying uh, it's gonna continue. The killing will continue. Uh, but I remember the last thing you had said. But they need to be accountable for their actions. Those police officers, what they call the bad cops, like they consider Derek Chauvin, who had killed brutally George Floyd. How do you feel about the verdict?
Well, that was a very good news for the Floyd family. I don't think they expect their Chauvin to be guilty on all three charges. And the world we're watching, everybody, they feel very, very happy about the verdict. But again, this is just one case. As you can see, before, while we have the trial, we will not forget Dirty White, who got killed because the police mistaken a gun from a taser.
Yeah.
While before that, you see how Miss Bryant got shot. Last night again, you see how another black man got killed. Like I always said, this is systemic. There's a lot of work need to be done, and I'm glad, the president is talking about it. Mary Garland, the attorney general, is talking about it. We also got a lot of work to do. We have to know what's going on in this country we live in. We love. We have to share the country together, and a lot of people doesn't want to share it, and we do have to share it. This is our home too. This is where we decide to stay, where we decide to live, where we work, we pay our taxes, and we all every day we work so hard to become a better citizen. And we as immigrants, we bring so many things on this country. Without the immigrants, the United States won't be where it is at now. The United States, passed from a power to become an empire, number one in the world. But without the immigrants, we won't be able to stay number one in the world. And they knew it. It's not that they don't know it.
How do you
We
think,
have to work together. Yeah, go ahead.
how do you think the world is viewing the United States right now?
Not really good, and I'm going to tell you why. When you see what happened in Anchorage, Alaska, when the Chinese, okay, the foreign minister of China, what he was talking about, he was talking about the way the United States is treating African American. Because Tony Blinken was talking about the Uyghur. And you see what happened today in UK. They say this is a genocide. So they have something to talking about it, to say the way we treat African American. But like I said to you before, we're making progress. We're not going to stop. We got to keep going. Right now, I think it's important for Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice Policing Act. And if we're talking about George Floyd right now, the person we want to give you the best, that was a young lady, Daniela Fraser. Without Daniela Fraser, we weren't talking about George Floyd right now. Look at the police report.
Yes. Those
We should trust the police. When we call the police, because we know the police is here to protect us.
and serve to protect.
And this is the oath the police took before they become a police officer. Now, if they don't have enough training, that's something we can talk about. I know there's a lack of training. But why we always want to use our guns against mostly African American and then unarmed African American? And most of them, sometimes, they are in the lowest denominator.
Do you think they do have the training, but at the same token, maybe some other type of, I don't know if it's a psychological, I don't know what to call it, for them to see the sentiment of the individual, to kind of detect it, so they know, okay, this individual, they have those racial sentiment or discriminatory ways. They should not be in a position like that, to have more compassion toward others.
Well, you say the word exactly. There's not enough compassion at all. If you look at Derek Chauvin for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, even everybody was telling him, you're killing him. Check his pulse. He doesn't have a pulse. George Floyd wasn't moving. He still, put his knee,
over his neck.
okay, over his neck. And then you can see his reaction even after the judge found him guilty. The only thing he have in his palm is the telephone number for his lawyer. That's the only thing he does have. He's just like a
Wholehearted.
cold-blooded murder. And then to come back with Daniela Fraser, I give her a lot of credit. You see a lot of people, they don't have to do it. They become a reporter and they using, and one thing we can say, if you asking for technology,
Yes.
I mean, imagine that. Remember, things start changing because of Rodney King.
Yes.
When you got 4 police officers beating Rodney King because they have an issue with big, tall African American. They always do. And when you look at whoever is doing that, most likely, white police officer do it more than black police officer and Spanish or Asian.
Yes, it does.
Okay? Now, things need to change. I know, and we will change that. But look at what's happening right now in Florida, the state we live in. Look at the law the governor signed against African American. And look at other states. They told you the anti-riot. Anti-riot for what? But they never say anything about January 6th.
Yeah.
You see, we cannot keep going like that. And that's why I said to you earlier, I mean, we immigrants, African American, we all got to put ourselves together. We have to know who we vote for. We have to get involved in politics.
So our communities has to
It's
be.
all about power. They want to control us, where to live, what time we have to get home. The First Amendment doesn't mean anything right now. They want to suppress that. Meanwhile, they want to concentrate on the Second Amendment. Everybody got to carry a gun. Look at the report today, what the FBI said. There will be more violence in the United States. Instead of talking about guns, check back guns, like all the Americans must like support that.
Yeah.
No, the NRA always stand up. No, we have a right to carry a gun. Nobody don't tell anybody you don't have a right. But some people should never have a gun. And then this is almost,
They have to do better assessment.
deja vu, because that's almost always what's going to happen. They have to use force to scare us. Now imagine you have a law. If somebody's going outside and protesting, and then if a driver, okay, driving a truck can go and kill you, and the same driver, he got immunity. You know where that playbook came from? From ISIS.
Yeah.
By any means necessary. And are we using that in the United States right now? You can drive your truck or your car and kill people. Do you see what happened in Charlottesville? When the neo-Nazi killed a young lady, 26 years old.
Yeah.
So you go and give that person immunity?
So
What kind of world we want to live?
we're preaching more violence when we should be.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Soon as you're doing that, so you go and say, other people say, oh, you're crossing the street. I have the right to kill you. Now you're going to say you're going to arrest that person because there wasn't a protest. This is not the way we're supposed to do. The good news, I don't think that's going to stand. It doesn't matter if we have to go all the way to this, to the Supreme Court. We have to do what we have to do, because instead of, having laissez-faire about the way thing is, leave it alone. People have the right to protest. This is in the Constitution. You cannot take that away from people. Soon as you want to take that away, you become like, communist China.
Yeah, it's an anarchy.
Yeah.
I can see
Okay?
that.
You become like an authoritarian. You're doing the same thing Vladimir Putin is doing. And then when you keep doing that, guess what? We're going to lose our democracy. Because the 21st century is a war between democracy versus autocracy. So the Republican right now is giving it to China. And this is a shame for us to act like that because of our color. Oh no, we're African American, we don't have any right. What can we do to take that right away? What can we do to control us?
Do you
Okay?
think? Do you think the movement that President Obama had started with the, I forget what it was called, when they were reuniting all the law enforcement officers and they were doing those different meetings about policing to have different with the leaders and also the police officers so they could make the community safer so all these killings can somewhat decrease. You think
Yeah, that
President?
was a good movement. But you know what? One of the good thing about the Derek Chauvin trial, you can see the blue code of silence crack on that trial, and that was very, very good. When you look at the police chief of Minnesota testify against Derek Chauvin, we're talking about Arredondo. When you look at other police officers, they say no, that's excessive force. And that was a good news. We need more police, okay, to start doing that. Because when you decide to become a police officer, This is a noble cause you want to do. You go to the academy, you train, you deal with the community. I remember when I used to live in Boston, we have the police walking, talking to us, spend time with us. Okay? Everything is okay. Sometimes it's 8, 9 o'clock, we stay. You say, guy, you okay? Or it's time for you to, guys, there's school tomorrow. It's time for you to go home. Are you finish your homework? He said, if you not finish your homework, it's time for you to go finish your homework. We don't want you to be, another one coming to the system. Keep up with your school. This is what police used to do in Boston. And I was there. The police finished working. Guess what? They came over my brother's house. We sit down, we have food. We have, he knows everybody in the neighborhood. But guess what right now? Most of the police, let's say somebody live in Riviera Beach, or the police is not living in Riviera Beach, they live someplace else. They don't know the community. And they not try. And then soon as you don't have that trust, and this is the biggest problem you can have. A police should be is a human being. We are a human being. We all choose what we want to be in life. I can be a police officer if I want to, but I choose not to. And I know police officer is a tough job. Okay? I understand that. But something they get trained, they call de-escalation. Diffuse the situation. You don't have to bring your gun. You don't have to bring your taser. No. Relax. You see the same thing with the young gentleman, 27 years old. The police stop him. You want to make sure he's stay in a place where everybody can see him. The first thing the police do, they put a gun on him.
Because he's black.
That's what it is. Or if you're black or Maroon. And another thing we do everything bad in this country. It's just like Eminem. We have to put a color in people. We don't see people as a human being. We are a human being. There's no color. If you're talking about color because you don't understand evolution, learn the evolution. Why everybody is different? Why the Chinese got the eyes like that? Because of the sun. We all human beings. It's not a question of black, white. But we have to make it like that to make sure, oh no, we upper. You living in the lower, I live in the upper.
Yeah, superiority.
That's what it is.
Superiority.
Okay, I think, like I said to you, there's a lot of work to do. And I think we can say right now, President Biden, his administration is somebody we can sit down and talk to. And you see the way he make a phone call. He spent 50 minutes to talking about with the FLOYD family. That was a very good thing. And he bring everybody. He's listen to everybody to see which way you want to do. And we have to push the Republican, because sometimes it's so hard to fight 10 Republicans to pass a law. And that's the biggest problem we have. We're not working together. And that's up to us. We want to send to Washington, D.C. to represent us. That's on us.
You think in the different communities, that would make a difference if there are more black officers as chief of police?
Well, I don't think that's the problem. The problem right now is to reform the police. And to reform the police, the first thing they have to do, you got to eliminate quality, immunity. Soon as you eliminate the quality immunity, this is the first step.
Because they know
After that, you go do the transformation. Soon as you eliminate, I'll give you a good example. Let's say right now, if Derek Chauvin was acquitted, guess what? He will go someplace else and get another job.
That's true.
This is the thing we need to stop. They have to, be accountable for what they do. And as soon as we do that, I think we're going to be in the right direction. We see Tim Scott right now try to say they need to, sue, the police. Not the police. They need to sue the police station. Imagine that we got 18,000 right now in the United States. Soon as you start sue them, guess what? They're not going to have enough money. You got to go after the police.
Yes.
They are the one who make, the bad cop need to be paid for.
So kind of
Okay? And the good cop right now, in order for them, for everything to go smooth and get better, you got to tell them they need to stop. If they don't stop, guess what? I'm going to my boss, tell him what you're doing. And then you will see a big change. And like I said to you, it's up to us.
It's like there has to be more periodic screening on a regular basis for these police officers.
Yes, not only that, everything will be in a database. When the police did something wrong, they cannot get a job again to be working as a police. That's it. And they know. I give you one of the best examples. Derek Chauvin still got almost $1 million in his account for his pension. Okay? So if he knows they're going to sue him, guess what? He will not do that. Every time you attack in somebody's pocket, there's a lot of things they won't do. Because they know they can lose their house. Okay? They can lose the pension.
Their assets.
They're not going to do it. They will have a conversation with you. Unless, the police got to use excessive force. I understand sometimes they got to do it. Somebody, attacking them. Somebody got a knife who want to kill them because they have to go home to be safe with their family. We got that. But the problem, as soon as the police stop you,
when it's done,
sometimes they have yelling at you. Okay? It doesn't matter how respectful you are to the police, some of them. Okay? You want to respect the police, but you want the respect back.
Yeah, some of them are very smart.
Okay? Like I said to you, we want to treat each other as a human being. That's a job you don't want. You stop me for, speeding, to take a red light. That's your right to stop me. Give me the ticket, and guess what? And I pay for the ticket. I make a mistake. And I don't have any problem with that. Anybody should not have any problem with that.
So some of them, they do have the proper training, but they just choose who to act it upon. If it's a white person, they act differently. If it's a black person,
that's correct. Imagine another thing we need to stop doing. Dante Roy will be here today. You're talking about for air freshener and his review mirror. You're talking about the sticker, this license plate is expired, while the city is living. Okay, they're behind because of the pandemic 2 or 3 months. You will let that fly. Now you say, well, there's a warrant, misdemeanor. Okay, it's not a felony. You don't have a gun on him. And then guess what? His girlfriend was next to him.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Okay, the police, so fast to carry the gun. There's no need for that. And there was 2 police officers before we got 2 more. I don't know where this lady Kimberly come in and say, no, taser. You don't know if it's a taser? And you shot the young man.
Yeah, you can tell the difference when you touch it. I mean,
That's correct. Okay. And then, his father and then his mother, now he got a 2 years old. And then now we go up without the father. And then you would like to blame people. Oh, they have kids, but the father is not there. You put them in jail or you kill them. The whole thing need to be changed.
All the ripple effect.
But like I said to you, hopefully, like Gianna Flood, when she was 6, now she's 7 years old. She said, "Daddy's going to change the world." I think
Yes.
she's right. The world is going to be changed. Daddy's going to change the
And again,
world.
this is one of the incidents that the world was moved with the George Floyd incident.
Oh
The world
yeah.
was,
Imagine after when they find the extreme guilty, look at the newspaper in the world.
yes.
The, the world was watching to see what America is going to do. Okay? But one thing we can say, the system is working, but we need to be on our way to be a perfect for everybody. It should not be a justice for black people,
No,
a justice for white
no,
people.
yeah.
It got to be one justice. You
Oh,
you know you if you do the crime, you got to do the time. Okay, but we need to slow things down. Let's have the trust back. It's going to be taking a long time, like I said to you. But the chief police, they have to do whatever they have to do. I think, and I expect them to do. The state, city, local, and federal, I think
okay.
they all be working together and to find a solution. We cannot go like that anymore. Especially 2021, the 21st century. No, we just can't.
Because
You need
police
to
is,
stop.
yeah, police is there to protect.
That's correct.
And this is the wrong place to have discrimination.
But you
It's,
cannot have it. You need to stop because this has been going for too long. You know, like I said to you, soon as you start hitting the pockets. Oh yeah, things will slow down, and we need Congress to do the work. And if Congress doesn't do the work, there's election in 2022. We have to find out. It's easy to find out when a congressman or a senator who they vote for. What's our interest? This is what interest right now. What they voting for. And then our job is to go out, even they try to change the law for us not to go vote. That's why it's important to pass HR 1 and HR 4, the John Lewis. This need to be passed too. We need more time to go vote. We don't want anybody to tell us if you bring water or food and then that's a felony. No, that's not going to happen. Not in the United States. Okay? What's a felony? A lot of people is doing white collar crime. Okay? That's what should be a felony. Not when you bring water to somebody, you let it stay online for 4 or 5 hours. It should not be 4 or 5 hours. People should be able to vote online. Okay? You should encourage everybody to go out and vote. But when you cannot win, or you have to change the rule of the game. And the rule of the game is not going to change. People need time, and you have to give them the time to vote. If it's not, guess what? We have to get a holiday on the Tuesday. Everybody's off. They have time to go out and vote. And we have to fight for that. And this is, we will never stop fighting until we're comfortable like everybody else. We want everybody to be comfortable. It doesn't matter what color you are. And that's what today, the AAPI, they pass, and that's a good thing to protect the Asian American Pacific Islander. This is a good law because discrimination needs to stop attacking Asian because you're talking about
that's what
people don't even understand.
I think that's why the Vice President Kamala Harris had a different speech where
That's
she,
correct.
like, discrimination against all
Yeah.
American has to stop because
And we
some,
need that for us too. That will be a step in the right direction. Like I said to you, the George Floyd Justice Policing Act, we need to pass that. We owe that to George Floyd. Okay? We got to look at people as a human being. We all got our issue. And we're here to protect people who have issue. A lot of Americans, they have issue. We're here to protect them. That's what a good nation, a society is supposed to do. You protect the weak and the poor. Okay?
With the killing, the
Yeah. That's what we're
discrimination.
supposed to do, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fight for that.
Definitely. Definitely. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm here anyway.
Yes,
Thank you.
I knew something must have come up, but I had no doubt you were gonna join.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Come back again.
Thank
Lots
you.
of information. Good night.
Okay. Bye bye. Good night.
This was my guest, Philippe Augustin, full of knowledge. I call him my library. This is a man with so much knowledge, so much information. Uh, we're going to encourage each and every one of you to be mindful, to be watchful, and to carry your head high and to speak against discrimination, racism against all people, and particularly also discrimination against blacks as well. Police officers are treating black unfairly and killing uh, many blacks. We encourage you to speak about it, make it be known when you see something, to report it. And we hope that the conversation will change at some point in America where the numbers will decrease instead of increasing. So we're not still talking about how many more are going to lose their life, how many young sons, young daughters will come back home safe when they're out there, and how many mothers and fathers will have that fearful conversation with their children, telling them to be extra careful because they have a different skin color. We need a better America. We need better police officers. We need them to be accountable for their action and use their proper training that they have learned toward blacks individuals. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for streaming with us on YouTube, on our channel. Continue to like and share material and also subscribe. We will bring you another episode again next week. And don't forget to tune in for our kids edition for our next guest coming up for you. And I encourage you to go and follow young Prince Vendy, who has a new song that's going to come out, Pretty Girl. Encourage him, subscribe to his YouTube channel, check him on YouTube, Prince Vendy. Thank you, everyone. And I want to thank my great guest, Philippe Augustin, who was with us. Thank you. This was your host, Benji D. I want to thank all my sponsors for making this possible. Crystal Lakes, Lobby Masnikoff and Associate, JD Technical Institute, and JD and Associate. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you. Until next time, signing off, Benji D. And so long, everyone. We'll give you another great episode again. Benji D Corner on the corner. And follow my journey as I'm back at the fitness world. Follow my journey, and you could see the transformation that I will be having from time to time. I do some posting on my page, Benji D Corner. Check it out. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love toward you. Thank you. Mwah, like I like to send the kisses. Have a wonderful time from whatever time you are watching this. So long.